For question 8, it says a farmer has a triangular field ABC as shown in the diagram. AB is 35 meters long, BC is 80, and BAC is 105 degrees. D is the midpoint. This D is the midpoint of BC. So obviously each of these are going to be 40 and 40 like that. Find the size of BCA. BCA. So we're going to want to find that. Now, in looking at that, if I label my diagram, this, I can take those away there. This is going to be my A, this is going to be my C, and this is going to be my B. Now, we have this 105 and the opposite side. Now, whenever we have a angle side pair, opposite side, we think of the sine rule. We're going to use the sine rule, this one over here. And I see that I have got my A, this part, and I've got this part, so I'm going to be using that part. And because I'm wanting to work out an angle, I'm actually going to invert both sides and write my formula as the sine of A over A is equal to the sine of C over C, like that. And I'm going to put in my values there. So I'm going to put in here the sine of A, which is going to be 105. So I'm going to have the sine of 105 over 80 is equal to the sine of C over 35, like that. So my sine of C is going to equal 35 times by the sine of 105 divided by 80, and I do that in my calculator, and that's equal to the sine of C. So I get there 35 times by the sine of 105 close brackets divided by 80, and I get 0.4, this is 0.42259, so it's like that. And I can keep that value in my calculator and just use that, and then I do second function sine, second function answer, put in the answer that I've got there, and I get 24.998. So my angle C is 25 degrees. So this is 25 degrees here. Then it says we want to calculate the length of AD. So let me just clean this all up. This is 25 degrees there. I want to find that length AD. Now, in doing that, because I know this value over here, it's useful to know that value over there. So that angle B is going to equal 180 minus 105 minus a 25. That's 130. This is going to be, angle B is going to be 50 degrees, like that. So I know the length of this length over here is 40, and I know this length here is 35. I've got the included angle, and I want to work out this length X here. Now, when doing that, when we've got side, angle, side, we use the cosine rule. And I'm going to use this cosine rule here, because this is finding the side, and these are your two sides and the included angle there. So it's going to be that x squared in this case will equal 35 squared plus 40 squared minus 2 times 35 times 40 times the cos of 50 degrees. Now remember, your answer that you're going to get is x squared, and you're going to still need to take the square root of it. So it's 35 squared plus 40 squared minus 2 times 35 times 40 times the cos of 50, close brackets, enter. And I get 1025. I get x squared is equal to 1025 point something, and I take the square root of that. Take the square root of my answer, and I get x. That value x is equal to 32, and obviously it will be in meters. So then it says the farmer wants to build a fence around ABD. So let's close this down. We've got here, this is 32, and he wants to build a fence all the way around there like that. Calculate the length of that fence. So the length obviously will be all of these three added. That would be 40. So it's going to be 35 plus 32 plus 40. So I'm going to get 60, 100, 107 meters for that. And then it says the farmer pays $802.5 US for the fence. The cost, find the cost per meter. So if it's $802.5 for the whole fence, if I divide by my length of my fence, that will give me a cost per meter, because this 802.5 is for the total cost. So I divide my 802.5, I divide that by 107, and I get $7.5 per meter for that. Then we have, it says calculate the area of the triangle ABD. So we want to calculate that. Now here again, I'm going to use my area sine rule. I know that this over here, this angle is 50. I need my two sides and the included angle to find that area. So the area will equal 1/2 times 35 times 40 times the sine of 50 degrees. So we're going to get 0.5 times 35 times 40 times sine 50, and we get 536.23 meters squared. So we get that area. Then in F, it says a layer of earth 3 centimeters thick is removed from ABD. Find the volume removed in cubic meters. So from this whole surface area, they're going to remove a small amount of 3 centimeters. So that's actually going to be a prism, because it will also have a height. It will have a height of 3 centimeters, and we want to find the volume. So the volume of a prism, the volume is equal to the area of the base, which is that triangle, which is 536.23, times by the height, which is 3 centimeters. But we want this to be in the volume, needs to be in cubic meters. So I've got to convert the centimeters into meters. Now we know there are 100 centimeters in a meter, so that's going to be 0.03 meters. So I multiply 536 times 0.03, and I get 16.086, so I'll get 16.1 cubic meters.